Well, cool. Hey, first and foremost, man, thanks for coming on to the show. Greatly appreciate it.
Of course.
How was your vacation?
It was good, man. Can't complain. I really needed it.
Did you go somewhere interesting, or can you share?
I went to Cancun for like 5 days.
Okay.
So, you
Okay.
know,
Cool. Awesome. Awesome. So, was there a lot of people there, with everything going on with COVID?
it was actually packed. Believe it or not,
Oh
it was
wow.
actually, yeah. Because I think right now they're changing the rules where when I went, you didn't have to get a test to travel, but now you have to get a test to travel
Gotcha.
now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
everything went smooth and you enjoyed it.
basically, yeah.
Yeah. Cool, man. Cool. So, hey, first I kind of wanted to ask you, like, how did COVID like impact your training and everything going on leading up to the Olympia? Because it's obviously the biggest thing right now that people are kind of talking about, and with the shows, a lot of shows being canceled, Olympia getting moved, and everything kind of just being kind of chaos. Like, did you get affected by any of that?
Yeah, definitely. Right after I did the Arnold, where I placed seventh, everything in New York, New Jersey pretty much shut down after that.
Hmm.
So it was pretty hard trying to find a gym to train. Luckily my coach, he has a small private gym, but it's actually like almost like a 2 hour drive for me.
Oh wow.
So I was driving 2 hours back and forth just to train.
Yeah.
That was very hectic and everything like that. But I was able to still get my training in. But the
Mhm.
other problem was, there was a lot of shows lined up right after the Arnold, and I was already in shape, and everything got canceled. So I had to go off season, try to see if a show would be available, and then pretty much every show after that they will set a date and then they will cancel it. So I
Mhm.
wasn't too sure what show I could do.
Mhm.
Finally came down to like New York Pro, and they decided to move New York Pro 5 weeks out to Florida, and I wouldn't have been ready in 5 weeks. So I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
So my next option was to either do a show in Boston or Chicago Pro, and right when I started prepping for the Boston show, it got canceled. So my only option to qualify for the Olympia was to go into Chicago and win. So
Mhm.
that's what I had to do.
Yeah. Did you I mean, that's super frustrating. I mean, like, all the cancellations, and you're like in shape, and then you have to get out of shape, and then go back in shape again. That's got to be like real frustrating. Were you thinking at any point that you're just not gonna, like, just to cancel the season or anything like that? Did that ever go through your mind?
Well, I mean, at one point, I was while I was prepping for Chicago, I was keeping my fingers crossed that he didn't get canceled. And remember, it was supposed to be in Chicago, and then finally we got news. Maybe I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks out
Hmm.
that they couldn't have it in Chicago, and they were going to move it to Atlanta. So once I found out it was in Atlanta, I know the rules out there is a little bit different. I know for sure that we're going to have a show. So I just stayed the course and I continued prepping for it.
Hmm. How was, like, so when you went into off season, when everything kind of started getting canceled, how
Mhm.
far, like, how much did you need to get back into stage ready shape? Like you said, 5 weeks wasn't enough. So like, what do you think you needed?
Well, I mean, for Chicago, I did like around maybe like 8 weeks prep.
Hmm.
So I
Hmm.
needed a good like 8 to 10 weeks to get ready. I
Hmm.
wasn't too far off, but for me to go into a show and actually win, I needed at least 8 weeks to 10 weeks
Hmm.
to prep to be competitive.
So you think like you had the muscle, like, was already there. You just needed it for conditioning, like just to get conditioned enough.
Yeah, basically get
Okay.
conditioned enough to actually pull off a win because at this point, that was the last show, and if you don't win, you're not qualified for the Olympia. So I needed a good like 8 to 10 weeks to
Yeah.
really die down and bring a package that could maybe pull off a win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, definitely. I mean, did that. I'm sure you heard, and I don't know if you did, but um, the Arnold is going to move it to September of next year. Like the Arnold in Ohio is what they said. At least right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
that's
I
what
heard,
it's
I heard,
looking
I heard, some, I heard a few rumors, but
at.
I'm still like trying to get a specific date, but
Yeah.
that's the rumors right now, September.
So what do you think about that? Because I mean, let's say the Olympia is going to stay in December, right? Let's say everything stays the same. December, Orlando. Like, what do you think about having September Arnold and then like Olympia right next month, right after that,
I mean, I think it works out great for me.
or not next month, but you know what I'm
I
saying.
think it works out great for me because I could have, a lot of time to make some improvements before I, get back on the stage, especially doing the Arnold. Because I go to the Arnold this year, I want to win it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have enough time to make some improvements and bring a package where I know I could win it. And then from there, just take a little break and then go straight into the Olympia. So that works out perfect for me.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. A few people that I talked to like actually like that. They're hoping that that's going to be the case because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's so close enough where that's going to give them a long off season, and then
Yeah.
they can just improve, for those
Yeah.
two shows, those big two shows.
Yeah.
So how did you? So let's just kind of move to the topic, to the Olympia. So what do you think? Like, what are your opinions on the placings, your placing, in the show?
I mean, going into the Olympia, I know I was going to be competitive, and I knew like the package I brought from Chicago versus the package I brought to Olympia. I know it was going to be like very different, and
Mm-hmm.
I know, in my head and in my coach's head, we know we were capable of cracking the top first call out, getting that first call out.
Mm-hmm.
It was just after that I didn't know where the cards will stack in
Right.
terms of where they would put me and stuff like that. But I know in my heart, and also with Coach Oscar, we know that we were capable of getting that first call out, which we did. But
Mm-hmm.
after that, it was just, to me, it was just all up to the judges in terms of where they want to place me and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So what do you like, outside of you, I guess? What do you think that the judging was accurate? And again, I'm not including you because I know, obviously, you thought you brought a great package, but outside of you, like, what did you think?
I mean, I probably, if I was a judge, I would have moved a few guys around. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Rami definitely deserved it in terms of the top five. He brought the best package
Mm-hmm.
in terms of top five guys. Brandon in second, I could always see that. Rami just have a better package from behind than Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
But from the front, I would definitely prefer Brandon's physique over
Mm-hmm.
Rami's. I think his lines are better. He's
Mm-hmm.
more aesthetic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, so to speak, but
Uh-huh.
Phil Heath, Hardy was kind of like a toss-up. I
Mm-hmm.
understand why they give it to Phil Heath because he's bigger, but
Right.
he wasn't as how you say, the muscle that he brought for this Olympia. He kind of took a few steps backwards.
Mm-hmm.
His lats wasn't popping the way they usually do and stuff like that. So I see why they kind of put him in third.
Yeah. Do you think he's done?
I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think so. He's still healthy. He don't have any major injuries and stuff like that. Just the stomach stuff, and we know that was going to be something to look out for. But I don't think he's done. I think he still has a few Olympias left in him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So
just
you
up to him to get that mindset where get that killer mindset back and really just hone in on his skills and bring that Phil Heath type, that gift type package. So I
Mhm.
don't think he's done. I think he's still relevant.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, apparently, I mean, basically, like what I've heard was what you said. But he didn't have enough muscle mass like he usually does when he goes into the Olympia shows, and then of course the whole stomach situation
Mm-hmm.
that was a big question. If he can correct, like those things, at least bring up the muscle mass, that definitely will make him still competitive. But I just wonder if he wants to even, after winning 7, do you
Mm-hmm.
really want to like, be second, third, fourth? Like, do you want to go down that route, or do you just want to call
Yeah,
it
yeah.
quits? But I guess
It's
that's up to
like
him.
more of a mental thing now.
Right, right. It's like Jordan coming back, but then can't win championships. It's like
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
you know. But so do you think Rami is beatable at this point? Like, I know he's been beaten before, but now that he brought this package, do you think he's going to continue to bring this, or you think it's still going to be a struggle for him? Because conditioning was always his problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what do you think?
I mean, as far as like you said, the muscle mass and everything like that, he's the biggest guy out there. But like you said before, conditioning was always a problem for him in terms of like nailing it when it matters.
Yeah.
And only time will tell in terms of that aspect of it. He's a champ right now, so he has to really like bring a crappy package to be dethroned. So
Right, right.
everything is up to him right now. The ball is in his court. It's up to him to defend his title or bring something that would like solidify his dominant.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You're right there. You're cracking. I mean, you're right there at the top five, right? You placed sixth this Olympia. You were
mm,
what, ninth last year? Is that
yeah,
so? You moved up three spots. And I was thinking about that. I was doing some research, about you and everything, and before our show, and I thought that's an incredible improvement. Not just the spots, but you got to think in the 2019 Olympia, a lot of the big like names weren't in it, right?
mm,
And you got ninth. Now, this at the 2020, all the big names are in it, and you got
mhm,
sixth. So yeah, there's a lot of that's a lot of improvement,
yeah.
So like, what do you attribute that to? Like, why do you think you've done so much better this year, even with Rami there and Phil there and everything like that?
I mean, I finally, figuring out how my body works. Finally taking the time to learn how to really train. Because in the past, I really didn't train like a bodybuilder.
Hmm.
If you look at some of my old videos, I did more like powerlifting stuff. I would
Hmm.
try to squat 8 plates, deadlift 8 plates, and do stuff like that. But that's not really how you train as a bodybuilder. It's just recently, since I hooked up with my coach, we've really been training on like refining the muscle and stuff like that, and it's made a big improvements in my physique.
Hmm.
So I attribute that to was like the training, my mental, having more confidence in myself and everything like that, and practicing posing and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah. What do you if you don't mind me asking, what did you weigh in at this last Olympia?
I was right around 260 for pre-judging, and then we wanted to bring it in title for the finals. So I think I was around like maybe like 255 for the
Mhm.
finals,
So I
which
mean, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
which didn't make a difference because they scored me the same both for pre-judging and finals. So
so, that's a good weight. Do you are you thinking you want to come in bigger, or that's not something that you're interested in?
well, I mean, at Chicago, especially for the night show,
Hmm.
I was around like maybe like about 267. And if you see the pictures from the night show, I really like that look. I was a lot fuller, more
Yeah.
rounder. I like that look. Like if you look at the front double bicep, if you go on my Instagram and look at the pictures from the Chicago, especially the night
Right.
show, I
Hmm.
like that look a lot. You know, I felt like in sacrificing for the condition, I think my legs was downsized a little bit for this Olympia.
Mm.
My legs didn't have that same kind of pop they did in Chicago. So I would want something like the Olympia condition or a little bit maybe like 5-10% better, but with the same fullness in my legs.
Hmm.
So I think for going into like this year's Arnold or this year's Olympia, that's the goal. Keep the legs, keep the sweeping quads and everything like that, and try to bring more conditioning in the back,
Hmm.
especially my lower back and stuff like that.
So how would you try to accomplish something like that? Like, do you said you kind of start lifting like you were lifting like a bodybuilder, putting on a lot of weight. Like, how do you make, like, what makes your legs grow? Like, are you just lifting heavier weight? Is there like specific style of training that you like that helps you with
Well, I mean, this time around, especially this year, I wasn't squatting a lot. I kind of like cut squatting out
that? Hmm.
because we got some new equipment in the gym and we wanted to try them out in terms of some new leg press, some new hack
Hmm.
squats and stuff like that. So I was doing a lot more of that than squatting, and I felt like it definitely took a toll on my sweep, my density, my quads from not squatting.
Hmm.
So I'm definitely going to implement back squatting. And I also went old school. We started doing those Dorian deadlifts where he's not touching the ground.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, doing those for my lower back. So I think that would definitely make a significant improvement in my lower back development, and also putting back squats into my routine would
Hmm.
definitely make an improvement in my quads also.
It's crazy how like squatting makes such a big difference. It's like
Mhm.
it's like the most simplest thing you can do, but it like literally makes all the difference. Once people kind of stop squatting, it's like their legs don't quite look the same.
Yeah, yeah, definitely true.
Yeah. So at this point, like, are you just gonna do like focusing on the Arnold and the Olympia? Are you planning to do any other like shows? Of course, assuming that they might have some.
Well, I had like three. Well, I'm looking at like two outcomes right now. Either I go and finally try to get a New York Pro title,
Mhm.
or I just focus on the Arnold. So I'm trying, get in contact with my coach, and we'll try to decide what we're gonna do. Either we do the New York Pro, or we just focus on the Arnold for
Gotcha.
now.
Yeah, yeah, and that I guess gives you that long off season.
Yeah.
So outside of like your legs, are you thinking of like bringing up anything else? Or is there another focus that you're focused
Well,
on your body?
my primary focus is not even just my legs. I mean, I would love to keep training legs, but my primary focus right now is definitely to work on my lower back. I
Lower back.
definitely, I seen, seen pictures from the Olympia, and I think that's where I lose a lot of points. It's just not having those details, that definition in my lower back. So the goal right now is to really improve my lower back. So next time I step on stage, you'll see that difference.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, definitely looking forward to it. Next year should be interesting. Let me ask you this. Just it's kind of personal question. You don't have to answer, but are you planning to take the vaccine, like so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff? Or are you just gonna avoid doing that?
For now, I've been trying to avoid it, but
Uh-huh.
with the traveling and everything like that, and who knows what this new government is going to implement. I don't know what
Yeah.
they're going to do in terms of when you got to travel, do you need a vaccine or make sure you have a vaccine and stuff like that. But I've been trying to hold out as long as I can. I have friends that are actually did it already, and so far they seem fine. But
So
I
far. Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
wait another 6 months and see what happens.
Yeah, make sure they don't grow like a third arm or something like
Yeah,
that.
basically.
Yeah. That's funny. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. So, I guess you're not like looking at any kind of international shows or anything like that. Too much trouble. Yeah, I know they just postponed like uh, the the Arnold in what was it in Australia? I can't remember what the
Yeah,
European Arnold. Yeah.
only thing. Well, I have another podcast with the guys that promote the Arnold Brazil tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would actually see what they're talking about in terms of that show. If that show is happening, then maybe it's a possibility I might even go to Brazil. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah. Well, Brazil is, I mean, fairly close. I mean, still got to
Hmm.
still got to fly, but yeah, it's not as far as like Europe or anything like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, hey, Akim, I mean that you did amazing. Like I mean,
I know.
improving three places in the Olympia and a stacked lineup like that. That's incredible. So wish you all the best. I was gonna ask you, what do you think about like next year as far as like any dark horses like on your radar? You think is there anybody that's like people aren't really thinking about that you think next year is going to be somebody that really shines in
I
your
mean, they got a lot of young guys that are coming up, and I mean, I'm sounding like an old guy right now.
mind?
But I looked at Hunter Labrada, man. He's definitely he has a lot of potential, man. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie to you. It's just seeing him at Olympia, and for such a this is his rookie year, and he's already cracking the top 10 in the Olympia. So
Yeah,
that's somebody you definitely got to look out for. He has a bright future. You got other guys, you got guys like Nick Walker who plays fourth in Chicago. He has a bright future also.
mhm.
All these guys, they coming up, and I just just wishing them the best, and just hopefully they can stay focused and enjoy a long career.
Absolutely, absolutely. Did you pay attention to any other divisions? Like I know you were so focused on your show.
But I didn't get a chance to see the classic physique, but I did pay attention to the 212 actually.
Okay, so
'Cause,
what'd you think
I
about that?
mean, me and Sean Clarita go way back. We came up together and everything like that. So
Mhm.
I was really happy to see him actually finally win the Mr. Olympia
Mhm.
212, and I
Yeah.
was very proud of him and stuff like that. So that was
Yeah,
a huge
that
accomplishment.
was exciting. Yeah, like that was such a great win for him, especially.
Hmm.
And I mean, I don't know his age exactly, but he's not like the youngest guy there on the stage. So
Yeah.
for him to have that, it's almost like sometimes you need that like combination of like age
Hmm.
because you need that muscle maturity. Young guys like kind of don't quite have that just yet. So
I mean, I wouldn't even say the age. I would just saying from knowing Sean from where he came from
mhm.
to what he looks like right now is just it's freaking impressive, man. No
Yeah,
lie, it's really impressive, and for him to actually win that title is just it's almost impossible because
yeah,
I've known Sean when he was literally like a bantamweight, like you would never think he would look like what he looked like right now,
yeah.
and for him to put on that muscle and stay focused and grind and come out on top, that's just impressive, and I take my hat off to him.
Yeah. Yeah. There's, I mean, there, you know, goes to show the hard work really like does actually, you know, pay off. It's not just something that people say. And now, you know, now he's going to be like, you know, he's a 212 Mr. Olympia. Nobody's ever going to take that away from him, even if he doesn't repeat, which, you know, I
Hmm.
hope he does. But it's like this year was his year. Nobody's going to take that medal. That's him. It's like being the, like the champ in the Olympic Games. It's like once you
Yeah,
win
exactly.
gold, it's like,
No, I take that away from you. Yeah.
that's it. It's yours, you know. So what did you think? I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the women's physique? Do you remember do you know what happened there? The Shanique Grant losing? Do you?
Yes, I saw a little bit of that. I
Mhm.
didn't really follow it too much, but I mean, I definitely didn't. I think that's the one division I really didn't agree with.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm not a judge, so. But
Yeah, it seemed like it
I
seemed
think,
like like a not the greatest judging, but it's like the only one. Everybody, all
yeah,
the other judging was really great, you know.
yeah.
So what'd
I
you
thought
think?
I thought she was more complete. I thought she brought a package that was fitting of women's physique. She wasn't too hard.
Hmm.
The girl that won, congratulations to her and everything like that. But I just felt like she was a little bit more on the bodybuilding side than the women's physique
I
side.
see. Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's just me.
that makes sense. Yeah. So just to kind of end our podcast here, but I was going to ask you, what did you think about the overall experience of the Olympia? You know, everything changed, you know, away from Las Vegas. Now we're in Orlando, you know, with all the, you know, restrictions and all that. Like, how did you think it was handled? Did you think like it was a, you know, good, you know, good process?
I mean, it was amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm from New
Hmm.
York, so me flying only like 3 hours, give or take, to Florida was actually a blessing instead of going all the way to Vegas. So I was happy with that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's cheaper in terms of flight and stuff like that because I got to pay for my coach's flight and stuff like that. So that
sure.
was a lot for me. Um, in terms of the experience, man, they did an awesome job. Just last minute pulling that off and moving it to Florida.
Mhm.
Everything was perfect. Everything was ran really smoothly and stuff like that. Only thing I didn't agree with was the fact that they had us on stage for the pose down, but like in previous Olympias, they always call it the top six, and I felt like, damn, I made top six, and I didn't get to stand next to the other guys.
I
You know,
see.
yeah, done
Yeah,
that, or at least like bring out the top 10 because we all worked hard to be up there. So at
yeah.
least they just show like just showcase the hard work of the guys that cracked the top 10.
Sure.
Or even the top six.
Sure, sure. No, you know, I didn't actually even think about that. You're right. Like the top six usually comes out and compare because it makes a difference, right?
Mhm.
Because where you get compared, right? So
Mhm.
you could look one way like by yourself, but then when you start getting compared, you might start, you know, competing with
Mhm.
the higher up guys, you know,
Mhm.
and when if you don't get that opportunity, it's kind of like, well, you know, now what, you know, so yeah, I completely understand. But as far as the show itself, like just watching it like on pay-per-view, I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah,
It was like
it,
watching. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it was like watching a legitimate like pay-per-view event, like a UFC or like some, you know, something like that. It was really well done, you know.
And it was actually, you talk about the pay per view, and I haven't heard one person complain about the quality of pay per view or anything like that. Because in the past they would do live pay per view, and the
Mhm.
quality used to be crap. And I think this time around they got it right. So
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. Before when I used to watch it, it was terrible.
yeah,
It was literally like somebody like putting a webcam up or something. It was horrible. And now
yeah.
it's like looks like a, you know, like a legitimate sport, you know. So
Hmm.
definitely, yeah, definitely very cool. So hey Akeem, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're a very busy man, but I appreciate you coming on the show and thank you so much.
No problem, man. You're welcome. I know
All right.
we promised you this a long time ago, but
Oh yeah, it's good. It's
I'm
cool,
finally happy
man.
to do it.
Hey, I'm glad we could get together. Thanks again. You take care. Have a great rest of your day.
No problem, man.
All
Have
right.
a great day.
You too. Bye.
All right, bye.